All right, so we're diving into Tesla today
Yeah.
and trying to figure out, are they a good investment or not?
Yeah. Are they a good fit for your portfolio?
Right, exactly.
You know? There's so much to consider.
There is.
We've got their financial performance, their market share,
Yeah, all the innovation, all
innovation.
the stuff they're doing, but
Yeah.
also,
Yeah.
all the controversies, the risks.
The risks, yeah.
So
A lot to cover.
a lot to cover. Buckle up, everybody.
Yeah, we're gonna take a deep dive here.
Yeah.
So one of the things that's interesting about Tesla is that they're not just an electric car company.
Right.
They're really kind of pushing boundaries in renewable energy too.
Okay.
With their Tesla Energy subsidiary,
Okay.
which focuses on things like solar panel installations and energy storage products,
I see.
like the Powerwall.
Okay. Interesting.
They've even got this platform called AutoBidder.
Auto bidder.
Yeah, for energy trading.
Like a stock market.
Yeah, kind of, for electricity.
Wow.
Where Tesla can actually, buy and sell energy
Okay.
to help, stabilize the grid.
That's pretty wild.
It is.
But let's, I guess, start with the basics.
Sure.
How are they actually doing
Yeah.
in the electric vehicle market?
Oh, they're dominating. I mean,
Really?
they had almost 20% of the global battery electric vehicle market share in 2023.
Wow.
And their Model Y was the world's best-selling car
No way.
in the first quarter of 2023. Yeah.
Wow.
And then as of January 2024,
Okay.
it became the best-selling BEV in history.
That's
Crazy.
impressive for sure.
Yeah.
What's behind those numbers? Is it all hype, or are they doing something?
I mean, there's definitely hype, but they're also
Yeah.
doing some pretty unique stuff.
Okay.
Like, their manufacturing approach is really interesting.
How so?
Well, they're using these massive casting machines called gigapresses. Gigapresses to create single-piece underbodies for their cars.
I see.
It simplifies production
Okay.
and potentially makes the cars stronger, and it reduces manufacturing costs.
So it's a win-win.
It is, and other car companies are trying to, copy this technology now.
So they're not just making cars.
Yeah.
They're rethinking how cars are made.
Exactly.
That's interesting.
And their innovation goes beyond that. I mean, they've got this, second-generation Roadster.
The Roadster.
Like a super futuristic sports car.
Yeah.
And then the Cybertruck.
Yeah.
Which they actually just started shipping in November 2023.
Wow, that's...
I know. And then even more recently, they've got
Yeah.
these concepts for autonomous vehicles
Okay.
called the Cybercab and the Robovan.
So like self-driving robotaxis?
Yeah, basically.
Like a Tesla ride-hailing
In the
network?
Tesla network, that's the idea.
Okay.
I mean, that's where things get,
Right.
a little more complicated.
So more sci-fi.
Yeah, a little sci-fi. And, Elon Musk,
Yeah.
he's, made some bold predictions about self-driving technology that haven't really,
Panned out.
panned out on schedule. Yeah.
Speaking of Elon Musk,
Right.
he's a big part of this whole story.
He is.
But he's also kind of a wild card, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean,
Like his leadership,
yeah,
it's a strength and a weakness for Tesla, right?
absolutely. I mean, his vision, his charisma, it's pushed the company forward. But,
That's
his tweets, his public statements,
Right.
they've also landed Tesla in legal trouble sometimes. So
Yeah.
it's a mixed bag.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about their financial performance?
Okay.
Like that, are they actually making money?
They are.
Yeah.
They've achieved profitability.
Okay.
They're no longer reliant on selling those emission credits.
Okay.
They've even hit $1 trillion market cap.
Wow.
Twice, actually.
Twice.
Yeah, briefly. But, some analysts are looking at their accounting practices
Okay.
and suggesting that maybe they've misled investors.
Hmm.
So there's some scrutiny there.
So they're doing well financially,
Yeah.
but there are some red flags.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so what other risks should we be aware of?
Well, there have been some lawsuits
Okay.
alleging worker rights violations in their factories,
Obviously.
including things like accusations of sexual harassment and anti-union activities. And then there's the safety concerns.
Yeah.
They've had numerous recalls,
Right.
including a big one recently involving almost every Tesla sold in the U.S.
Wow.
to fix a system related to autopilot.
Okay.
And then there's the whole Tesla files leak,
What's that?
which revealed a bunch of sensitive customer data.
Oh, wow.
So data privacy is is a concern.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
So there's more to consider here than just cool tech and flashy cars.
Absolutely.
Right.
There are some serious issues. And that's why we're going through all this, to help you break it down.
Yeah. So let's talk about those risks in a little more detail.
Okay.
What are these lawsuits actually alleging? And how could they impact Tesla?
One of the big ones is about, like, this hostile work environment.
Okay.
And that it included, like, widespread sexual harassment.
Wow.
And then there are allegations that they've, like, actively tried to prevent unionization efforts at their factories.
I see.
So pretty serious stuff.
Yeah, that does sound serious.
Yeah.
And what about these safety concerns?
Yeah.
You mentioned a recall related to autopilot.
Right. So they had to recall almost every vehicle sold in the U.S.
Wow.
to address this problem with the autopilot system.
What kind of problem?
Well, it's how it handles things like, yellow traffic lights and speed limits.
I see.
They call it calibration optimization.
Okay.
But, it raises concerns about the safety and reliability of their driver assistance features.
Yeah, for sure.
This recall and then others involving, like, phantom braking, where the cars are braking suddenly for seemingly no reason.
Oh, wow.
It's,
It's got to be scary for the drivers.
It can be. It definitely can be.
Yeah.
And it just kind of highlights how challenging it is to develop and deploy these advanced driver assistance systems.
Right.
Tesla's constantly updating the software and making adjustments, but these recalls suggest that
there's still work to do.
There's still work to be done, yeah.
So what does all of this mean for the future of autopilot?
Right.
Do you think they'll be able to solve these problems and achieve their goal of fully self-driving cars?
I mean, that's the million-dollar question.
Right.
They've made a lot of progress.
Okay.
But they've also missed a lot of their own deadlines.
Yeah.
Right. And there's a lot of competition out there now.
Like, wow.
Like Waymo proves these companies that are also really investing in self-driving tech.
So it's not just about fixing the bugs.
No.
They've got to stay ahead of the competition.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about risks.
We have.
What about, like, the other side of the coin?
Okay. Yeah.
What are some of Tesla's strengths that make them a good investment?
Their brand recognition is undeniable.
Yeah.
I mean, Tesla is basically synonymous with electric vehicles at this point.
Right.
And they've got a really loyal customer base.
Yeah, like a cult following.
Almost, yeah. I mean, like Apple with iPhones,
Right.
They've really positioned themselves as like a premium, tech-forward brand.
Right.
And generated a ton of excitement around their products.
But brand recognition alone isn't enough.
Of course not.
So what about their financials?
So
we know they've been profitable.
Yeah.
But is it sustainable?
Well, that's a big question for investors. I mean, their profitability has been driven by, strong demand.
Okay.
Their ability to control costs.
Right.
Through vertical integration.
Well, vertical integration.
Yeah, meaning that.
What's that?
They control a lot of their supply chain.
Okay.
From manufacturing batteries to developing software.
I see.
It gives them a lot of control over costs and production.
Okay.
But it also makes them more vulnerable to disruptions.
Oh, so it's a double-edged sword.
It is, definitely.
Okay, so we've got brand recognition, a decent track record of profitability, and a unique business model.
Right.
What else should investors consider?
Well, their growth potential is enormous. The electric vehicle market is still, relatively new.
Right.
And they're well positioned to capitalize on that growth.
Okay.
I mean, they're expanding production capacity.
Okay.
With these new gigafactories all over the world.
Right.
And they're investing a ton.
Okay.
In R&D, especially battery tech.
Yeah.
And AI.
Okay, but isn't that growth potential already factored into their stock price?
Yeah, I mean, that's a valid concern. They're one of the most valuable car companies in the world.
Right.
And some people would say they're overvalued.
Yeah.
So their valuation is based on this expectation of continued rapid growth and dominance in the EV market.
So if they
don't meet those expectations, their stock could tank.
Okay, so a lot of pressure on them to deliver.
Huge pressure.
What about their leadership?
Right.
We talked about Elon Musk.
Yeah.
And his unpredictable nature.
Yeah.
Is that a risk for investors?
I mean, he's a visionary leader.
Okay.
But his impulsiveness, his controversial behavior, it's created problems for the company.
Yeah.
So it's a risk investors need to think about carefully.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so where does all this leave us?
It's tough to say.
Right.
I mean, should investors be bullish or bearish on Tesla?
Right.
There's no easy answer. They have enormous potential, but also significant risks. They're pushing the boundaries, but they're also facing intense competition, regulatory scrutiny, and just the challenges of scaling their operations.
Sounds like a wild ride.
It is a wild ride.
So what makes Tesla so interesting?
Right. It's just there's so much going on. And ultimately, whether they're a good fit for you depends on your risk tolerance and your investment goals.
So no clear-cut answers here.
No, not really. But we've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
You know, autopilot competition, growth potential, Elon Musk. So let's move on to some of the more specific financial stuff that you had questions about in your research.
Sounds good.
You know, like acquisitions. Have they made any big moves lately?
Yeah, I'm curious to know if they've bought any companies that could give them an edge.
Right. So yeah, they've made some acquisitions. But their biggest one was actually back in 2016 when they acquired Solar City.
Solar City, right?
Yeah, it was...
it's controversial, I remember.
It was definitely controversial at the time.
Yeah.
But it really formed the basis for Tesla Energy. Which is, you know...
Doing solar.
Doing solar installations, energy storage,
So they're not just focused on electric cars?
Not at all.
It's like they're trying to become this one-stop shop for all things.
Sustainable energy.
Sustainable energy. That's interesting.
Yeah, and their services business is growing, too.
What kind of services?
Well, you know, the supercharger network, it's global. It's a huge part of their ecosystem. And it brings in a lot of revenue. I mean, it's convenient charging for Tesla owners. But they're also expanding into other services.
Like what?
Like energy trading with that auto bidder platform we talked about. And even insurance. Yeah, for Tesla vehicles. So these services could be a bigger part of their business in the future.
It's really fascinating how they're building this whole ecosystem around their products.
It is. It's pretty remarkable.
Okay, so we've talked about their business. What about their impact on the economy as a whole? I mean, they've created a lot of jobs.
They have thousands of jobs. In manufacturing, engineering, software, not to mention all the indirect jobs in related industries. Like battery production, charging infrastructure. But, you know, they've also been criticized for their labor practices and the environmental impact of their manufacturing.
I mean, it's complex.
It is. It's very complex.
All right, so let's get into some of the financial specifics you had questions about in your research. So what's their dividend policy?
They've never paid a dividend.
Never?
Nope. They reinvest all their earnings back into the company.
So they're all about growth, not dividends.
Exactly. They want to fuel growth and expansion.
Makes sense.
What
about share buybacks?
No significant share buyback programs either.
The same thing. Reinvesting for the future?
It seems that way,
Okay, and one last thing. How are they doing on the ESG front?
Environmentally, they get high marks. I mean, they're really pushing for the transition to EVs and renewable energy. But their social and governance scores are more of a mixed bag.
We've talked about the worker rights allegations and Elon Musk's, you know, unpredictable behavior.
Definitely areas where they could improve.
For sure.
And investors are watching those issues closely, especially those who care about ESG performance.
Okay, so after all of this, what's the final verdict?
That's the tough question.
Is Tesla a good investment or not?
It really depends.
On what?
On you as an investor. Are you comfortable with high risk, high reward? Do you believe in their long-term vision? Do their ESG practices align with your values?
So no easy answers.
No easy answers, no.
Tesla's a tough one to figure out.
It is.
But we've covered a lot.
We have, You
know, their market position, financials, innovation.
The risks.
The risks. So hopefully you have enough information now to make an informed decision.
And that's what matters.
Absolutely.
Being informed.
Okay, well, thanks for walking me through all of this.
Of course.
It's been enlightening, to say the least.
It's a fascinating company.
It is.
There's no doubt about that.
So for everyone listening out there, knowledge is power. Arm yourselves with information.
Make good decisions.
Make good decisions, exactly.
All
right, until next time. So we were talking about acquisitions. Have they made any other big moves?
Well, the Solar City one was the big one.
Yeah.
Back in 2016.
Okay.
I mean, that really set the stage for Their energy business.
Right, Tesla Energy. Okay, so they're not just focused on cars.
No, they're branching out.
What about their services business? Are they making money from other things?
The supercharger network is a big one.
Right, they're charging stations.
Yeah, it's global.
Yeah.
It's a key part of their ecosystem.
Okay.
Provides convenient charging, obviously.
Yeah.
And it brings in a lot of revenue.
Okay, so that's a big part of their services.
Yeah, but they're also doing things like energy trading.
Oh, right, with that auto bidder platform.
Yeah, exactly. Oh. And they even offer insurance.
Insurance?
Yeah, for Tesla vehicles.
Oh, interesting.
So these services could become a bigger part of their revenue.
It's fascinating how they're building this whole ecosystem.
It is. It's very strategic.
Yeah.
They're not just selling cars. They're selling a whole lifestyle.
Okay, so we've talked about their business, but what about their impact on the broader economy? I mean, they've created jobs.
They have thousands of them.
Right.
Manufacturing, engineering, software development, and then all the indirect jobs, too.
Yeah. In related industries.
Exactly, like battery production, charging infrastructure.
Right. But they've also faced criticism.
Yeah, for sure.
For their labor practices.
Uh-huh.
And the environmental impact.
It's complicated.
It is. There's no easy answer there.
Nope.
All right, so let's get into the financial specifics.
Okay.
What's their dividend policy?
They've never paid a dividend.
Never.
Nope, they reinvest everything.
Back into the company.
Yep. Growth over dividends.
Okay, what about share buybacks?
No significant buyback programs either.
So same thing, reinvesting.
Seems like it.
Okay, last question.
Yeah.
ESG.
Shh.
Environmental, social, governance.
Right.
How are they doing?
Environmentally, they're doing well.
Yeah.
They're pushing for EVs, renewable energy.
Yeah.
But their social and governance scores, they're not as strong.
We talked about the worker rights issues and Elon Musk's behavior.
Right. Those are definitely areas for improvement.
Okay, so after all this, what's the verdict?
It's still up to you.
Is Tesla a good investment or not?
It depends on your risk tolerance.
Okay.
Your investment goals, your values.
No easy answers.
No, Tesla's a complex company.
Yeah, with a lot of potential.
But also risks.
Okay, well, thanks for walking me through all this.
Of course. It's been a fascinating deep dive.
It has. I feel like I have a much better understanding now.
That's the goal.
Yeah, knowledge is power.
Absolutely.
All right, everyone listening, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.
We'll see you next time.